Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pizza Story podcast. I have Candy with us today, and she's from the Turning Peel. You guys are in Portland, Oregon, right?
Yes, Portland, Oregon. Thank
Portland,
you.
Oregon. All right, awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, Candy. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, Sam here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So, I really want to talk to you about, how you got into pizza and your history and where you're from.
Yeah, so it's all start with sourdough bread.
Yeah,
Yeah, in pandemic, I think a lot of people get into sourdough um because of the how it feels so therapeutic. And I just bake many loaf of bread, and it's just more efficient when you bake multiple loaf, and the
yeah,
process
yeah,
is so intensive. So I always have extra loaves of bread, and I would just give it to my neighbors. And somehow bread connect people. And then I think during pandemic, everybody really missed that with the connection between
yeah,
peoples. And I start really enjoying it and enjoying the connection, enjoying seeing people like somehow when you give bread, that smile of receiving bread
yes.
is no one will say no to bread, and the smile is different. So I start founding the magic of sourdough, and really enjoying it. So it's
Mhm.
kind of evolved to making pizza afterwards.
That's amazing. So I very much like you also got into sourdough around that time and
Yeah,
was making loaves all the time, and my family loves it. In fact, I haven't made it lately, and my husband's been asking about, making it again because it's been a while, and it was the same. I would give it to people as gifts, and my mom owns a jam company, so when she had jam, I would do the sourdough and the jam.
perfect.
And there is just something about it that just is really first of all, it's really therapeutic to make it. And then
Exactly.
it does really bring people together, and it's so delicious.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So, how did you go from, making sourdough to starting to make pizza? Like, what was kind of your turning point where you're like, "All right, I'm gonna make pizza now?"
Yeah, so it's a little dramatic, and it's a little like unplanned and unexpected in my case. I was an engineer before,
Okay.
and my day job, I used it to be day job, is in front of the computers for a long time, and then travel a lot, going to meetings, a lot of the time. And I was doing my job for 13 years after I
Wow.
graduated in a single company. So I was at a point where I want to change my career, and and I like what I do, but then I start, when you do the same thing every day over and over again, and then
Yes.
you feel like you want to do something different.
Yes.
And then but the thing is that, I was really good at my job before,
Yeah.
and you know how you have a paycheck every day, you have insurance, everything is very comfortable. And I have two kids, I have families, and it was not really, I'm not brave enough to just say, "Hey, let's quit my job and do something different." So
Mhm.
it's one of those things that, is really hard to do. And so, I was keep thinking about it. I keep wanting to do something different, but I'm just not, just don't have the gut to do it.
Yeah.
So I start out with um, a farmer's market. So, and I bought I bought an oven, and it's one of those like portable oven, but it's like really heavy,
Yeah.
260 pounds. Um, and I will hold it to the farmer's market, and
Mhm.
and I try to see if people actually like my pizza, at all.
Yes.
So, and I will be making pizza, and using sourdough because that is something that I can't find in most pizza places.
Yeah.
Usually they use yeast. And all of the sudden, the first day in the farmer's market, I was only even just making 30 doughs, to try out if people really like it. So we sold out, in few hours. And
Wow.
I was like, wow, people really like my pizza. And I get the same smile,
Yeah.
like how people receive bread, and they were like, oh, this is so tasty. I can taste the tanginess, the chewiness, and they found something different in the pizza.
Yeah.
And that would make me really happy. So the next week I increased the dough to like 45, and then we sold out again. The farmers market opened around 2 o'clock, and then it closed at 7, but we sold out like around 4.
Wow.
And then we start seeing customer like they come like after work 5 o'clock, and then we sold out. They're disappointed, like that disappointed face, and I feel really bad. So we keep making more and more dough every day, and then we start selling like 60 pizza, 70 pizza,
Wow.
and people just loving the pizza. And then we have repeat customers since day one we open. They come every week with their grandparents, and it's creating this really sweet community, like and and it's really fun to make new pizza every week and
Yeah.
use fresh ingredients. I was in this farmers market where it's a very small farmers market. They only have like 13 vendors, just
Mhm.
one block. It's an organic, vegan focus farmers market. There's no meat, which is very different from pizza point of view. Like usually
Yeah.
pizza, but they don't like, because there's really no meat in this farmer market. So meat is actually not allowed to be sold. So
Okay.
we were doing a lot of vegetarian, vegan pizza, and learning a lot of like ingredients from different farms there,
Mhm.
putting freshly seasoned produce on the pizza. So, and all of the sudden, I got laid off.
Wow.
And so it's one of those, how the universe is calling and telling you that,
Yes.
this is the time that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was my encouragement. That was like I don't have to really quit my job, and I was somehow the happiest person to be laid off.
I understand that.
And it's like that relief, like, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and I was really lucky that the company I worked for 13 years, they have a really good package
Yeah.
when they lay you off. So we have insurance cover for a year for the family, so which is
Wow.
very nice. And then yeah, and then we just opened. Well, there's a little bit in between, I was trying a food cart, but then it just end up we opened the Turning Peel, brick and mortar.
Wow, that's incredible. So you and I have so much likeness because I, like you, have had this like marketing company for 20 years and just was like a few years ago, like, I just don't feel purpose driven in this. I want to switch careers. And then, I wrote my book and then started the podcast. And it's just one of those things where you feel this calling and then you want to follow that purpose and that path that you're on.
Oh my god.
So it's very similar to yours. Now, take me through, so now you have decided to open you have a brick and mortar, so tell me about the opening of that and kinda how you found your building and what you guys went through with that.
So that is kind of another story. So it's again, I never imagined I will open a restaurant. Like
Yeah.
not in my right mind. um and so again, it's kind of things that just happen and fall into my spot.
Yeah.
So before we even doing pizza, we were co-owner of one of the restaurants, but we were kind of passive investor. We save up enough money, but we did like um help the process of building. So we have this space which is a really old house. So we bought this old house, and so we spent 2.5 years turning into restaurants. We put in a lot of like hard work and 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 like heart and soul into it. Like there's like I put all the wallpapers, there's lots of tiles work, and basically everything is handmade.
Wow.
And of course, we have 5 owners, so all 5 of us do it together, but it took us like 2.5 years, to build a space. Um, and so, but unfortunately, that restaurant closed down because it opened during the pandemic, and it was
Mhm.
just not the right time, and it was just very hard for restaurant to sustain. So basically, it's kind of everything in parallel. The restaurant closed down, and I got laid off, and I started, you know, s- um, the farmers market. And so I actually bought a vintage truck, actually a trailer,
Yeah.
camper, and I converted to a pizza truck, and
Nice.
everything is actually done inside. And so, and all of a sudden, I have a space available. So I haven't actually even used the truck. So my family just tell me that why don't you? So we were trying to rent a space basically, but people coming in and they just want to tear down everything. And I
Mhm.
just emotionally not ready for it
Yeah.
because it's just too much hard work put into it. And I run many, many rounds of estate sales to collect all the antiques, and it was just kind of emotional attached to the space, and I was just keep looking for the right person, the right tenant to take the space. But after a few months, and it was not happening. And like, I guess it makes sense because when people come in, they always want to make it their own space. So when they want to change something, and I was like, I'm not ready. So then my husband and my kid asked me, why don't you take the space? And I was like, oh my God, I'm not ready to open a brick and mortar. Like, I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
And then it just occurred to me that that is what the universe is calling me to do, and
Yeah.
and that's just the right things to do. And I think in my life is always, I always have these things that what you got to lose, right? And if you fail, you just go back to where you were, and then you can start over again. And
Yeah.
I think that is what I always believe in, and it drives me to try new things every day. And so I say, okay, so my family is supporting me, and I say, yes, let's do it. So then the first things that I did is that, because the house is a very small footprint and is only 800 square feet,
Oh, wow.
like including the kitchen, and we only have like 30 seat inside. And somehow that was the moment that where my brain is not really logical or aligned, but just my feeling is telling me that I need something hold on to it. I need something special. So I told my husband that, I want to create a green space.
Yeah.
I want to add extra seats. When winter come, we can still use it. It's covered. So we build it. So we spend time, to build the outdoor space. And I call it the Oasis. And before we open, I put my favorite hurricane lamp ice cream chairs, and create this beautiful romantic grapes covered patio called Oasis.
Yeah.
And I told my husband that, I don't have to be the best pizza in town, but I just need to have the best patio in town. So yeah, so we opened it October 10,
Mhm.
2024 or 23. Now I don't know, remember now.
Okay.
So yeah, a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
So we and it was very shocked because when we first opened, well, first day open was okay. We sell like it's soft opening, so people come and try, But then when we settle down, there is a day that we only sell two pizza.
Okay.
So we were like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. Okay, this is not working. And am I really doing the right things, or I'm just being crazy? And I think also I was just really scared. I don't have a lot of money to hire people. So we were basically only my husband and I, we have no employee. We only open Monday through Friday,
Mhm.
and only lunch only. So people always laugh at us like, why are you doing this? This is like no restaurant ever do this,
Yeah.
And I was like, because I'm not ready open for dinner. Once I open for dinner, my kid will lose their mom. If I
Yeah.
open weekend, they won't see me ever, and I think I'm old enough to know that what is the most important things in life, which is my kid.
Yeah.
And even there are passion or there are other things that make me happy, but I can't lose that because when I lose that, I lose everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to have really extensive lawn soft open, which is only lunchtime.
Yeah.
Everybody laughing at me. They think that I'm not very smart to do that. Um, but I decided this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But then slowly, we become one of the most popular spot for lunch because no restaurant want to open for lunch
Wow. See,
because
you have to do what's right for you.
lunch is not the time that people make money usually, and
Yeah.
so most like little bit like more handcraft restaurant only open for dinner. So we become one of the place that people just want to hang out for lunch, and we cultivate a lot of like lunch customer just come here to hang with us, and so people talk about our pizza and then mouth to mouth, and then we start increasing sales really like rapidly week by week, and so we were at a point where our lunch Friday, which is the busiest lunch day, my husband used to like sweat and has a nightmare before that. He's like, I can't handle this because
Yeah.
he's usually the one that taking order in the front and I would be the one that making pizza at the back. And then we will be usually selling out around 1 o'clock. And then we will be selling like 75 pizza during lunchtime. And we will be like really scared, with two people handling, making salad, pizza, finishing pizza, running food, taking order all at once. So we sit down and say it's time to hire. So that slowly evolved to today. We have
Mhm.
a really good team and we open finally dinner and weekend.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that. So tell me about your menu. I see a lot of things on your menu that looks like you guys locally source a lot of stuff.
Yes, with our regular menu,
Mhm.
a is a little bit more traditional Italian Neapolitan pizza.
Mhm.
Even though we are not traditional Neapolitan pizza where you use fork and knife to eat and it is on the soft side. But we are sourdough based, so it's more chewy, airy rim, very crunchy. But um we want to elevate our pizza where it is very high quality ingredients. So we use culture mozzarella. We
Mhm.
have regular pepperoni pizza. We have like of course margarita, fresh basil. So basically everything is fresh. And I always tell custom we have a lot of European customer, and when they come in, they always say that this is so good, this is so good. And I always tell them that it's because we focus on our ingredients. And because how I grow up, my body cannot tolerate um highly processed food. So in
Yeah.
our restaurant, we don't use any chemical, we don't use any emulsifier, we don't
Wow.
even use sugar in our pizza. Like we only sugar in dessert and drinks. We have no sugar, added. It's just because my body cannot handle it. I cannot eat deep fried food. I
Yeah.
get really sick the next day. And that's where we serve everything in the restaurant that I would have cooked in my house. So when you eat the whole pizza, you don't feel stuffy. You don't feel like it's not like you feel like I'm eating a lot of butter or cheese, in your stomach. You will just feel just right. And then we
Mhm.
have this one rotating pizza where we use whatever available in seasonal that is available. So one of the most popular pizza that we had done is peach serrano. Is when the peach season is really good. People just loved it. We sold I think 200 of them. I cut so many peaches. And this week we are doing a turnip leaf spinach and fresh corn.
Oh, so
And
nice.
I think this is going to be another big hit. It's so tasty, so delicious. You can taste all the fresh
Hmm.
corn, a aroma from the turnip leaf, and it's just an Italian sausage. It's just really good.
That it sounds amazing. I love the peach pizza. I was just telling someone the other day, like, my mom does a peach jalapeno jam, so in the
Oh my
summer
god,
yeah, I've
that
been
sounds
doing,
so
like,
good.
the jam with fresh peaches, fresh jalapeno cheese, and I'll do a pizza, and it's peaches are so good on pizza.
I know, right?
Yes. So good. So, I love that you guys are doing bread too. The bread
Yes.
looks amazing, and I just there your space is very beautiful, and you have so many,
Thank you.
like, very special touches that, like, are unique, I think, to who you guys are.
Thank you. Yes. So we when we first opened the turning peel, we have this unrealistic business model in mind. We want the space because we are not from the restaurant world. So I guess in some way the good things is that we don't have any model in our head that we have to
Yeah.
follow. But it could be bad too. But sometimes, but that is where we say we're going to create what we want to do, and then of course we modify it if it doesn't work. So our model is that we want to be inclusive. We want to be we have an ADA accessible ramp all the way to the outside. So even with disability or with dog friendly, family friendly, we have a lot of toys here. Family that because I've kid of my own. Going to a restaurant is always a hard things to do. So kid can just grab a toys and then they can focus playing, and then uh, parents can just relax and chill.
Yeah.
Our menu, we are trying to be as affordable as possible, given our ingredients is very fresh and expensive. But we are about 20% lower than almost any same type of pizza in town.
Mhm.
We have we want to create this like romantic setting where normally you have to pay like $100 for dinner, in town, but we
Yeah.
want to be affordable, but yet, you can still have a date night in and good food, So we try to create a space to make the business work where we use our volume to compensate with pricing
Mhm.
so we can be affordable, but then many people still not like it, but this is how we can work. We use QR code.
Yeah.
um, we we try to not have like a fine dine food sit down menu setting. It's because we try to get the volume, and also we want to make sure that our labor is also affordable, so that our pricing can be affordable to everyone. So we managed to do that and create this community. Um, and yes, go back to the bread. And where when we have leftover dough, so that's
Mhm.
that's that's one thing special about the turning peel is that because when we make the pizza dough recipe, our dough recipe is not the same, or it's not regular pizza dough recipe. Um, because I have never worked in a pizzeria in my entire life. So I actually kind of invented the recipe based on sourdough bread.
Mhm.
And so our fermentation process is very different, where we push the fermentation process, push the dough to the most airy and light before we bake and before we ball.
Mhm.
So the good thing is that the pizza is very light and tasty and airy. But the downside is that once we cannot use the dough, we actually have to toss it. Unlike other pizzeria, you can have the dough to use like the whole week. If
Yeah.
you don't sell the pizza. So, and I'm also growing up in a family where we are really poor. We don't have a lot of food even to eat.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to waste food
Yeah.
and to toss food. And in a restaurant, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
But we were really proud that, we almost have zero food waste in the restaurant.
Wow.
And only like maybe customer crust, is the waste. But other than that, we turn our dough, leftover dough, into pizza bread because I
Mm.
thought it's only sourdough. So I stitch them up, shape them long, bake it in the oven in a lower temperature, and it's just like a baguette. And so I just give it away for free. So customer come in, they can take one for breakfast next day. And my kid and my neighbors love pizza bread, and it's just one of those things that again bring the community together. See the smile that when they receive bread. So yeah.
Yeah, it's another thing that makes you guys so special because I was looking on the Instagram and I was like, "Oh, they give away free bread, like, that's incredible."
Yeah, I just yeah, go back to how I started the turning peel and see the smile on. And then it's a win-win situation because, people will come in and they get free bread. I don't have to waste the dough. And it's one of those things that I feel like sometimes we take the universe for granted. We create so much food waste, and then there's a lot of part of the world that people still don't have food to eat, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that it's hard for me to just toss it in the trash can.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. So what does the future look like for the turning peel?
So right now we are continuous improving the efficiency. So
Mhm.
efficiency is one of the things that I'm really believing in. Like we have like an automatic door, so that our staff can be easily to run food. Anything economic, I'll make it easier for employee to work in the environment. As I said, one of the downside of our business model, um, which is working, like but yet it's really hard on our staff, which we kind of not calculated correctly in the business model, because we're such a high volume restaurants. They
Mhm.
have to work really extra hard, and there are a lot of posture, there are a lot of things that is harder on their body. So we are trying to improve those so that it's easier when they work here, and continuous work on, like dough fermentation process, how to make those easier and how to make things more consistent and stable. And then the last piece, I'm always have a lot of customer ask about gluten free. So, and I'm experimenting a sourdough gluten-free pizza,
Mhm.
which I because I felt that lots of gluten-free, they will replace um, gluten-free crust with like cauliflower crust, or which is still tasty,
Yeah.
but since we born as sourdough, and we want to remain the same thing and have customer, even gluten-free customer, to enjoy that. So that's where I'm going to that direction, and I want gluten-free customer also be able to enjoy our pizza.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. So, can you tell people how do they find you guys?
Um, well, Instagram is the best starting
Yeah.
point. And then we are on Division and 45th. And if you see this really cool pizza sign outside, in a blue house that is growing wild with all the leaves and plants, and then you will see a little gazebo, on the left side, which is our wait area,
Mhm.
that is the turning peel. Most of the time our sign, the name of the sign is kind of hidden because of how much plant we have around,
Yeah.
the outside and inside. I try to trim them every day, but still, like, it's hard to see the name. But the pizza sign is where you can find us. And smell. You can smell sourdough.
Love it. So, guys, go and follow them. It's at The Turning Peel. The Instagram page is amazing and all the food looks so delicious. Candy, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I love your story and you have such a beautiful, unique place.
Thank you so much, Erica, for having me.